Welcome back to Rocky Watches Movies. Today we're diving into the high-octane, action-packed world of one of TV's most exciting helicopter adventures, Airwolf. Premiering in 1984, Airwolf thrilled audiences with its daring aerial stunts, espionage missions, and a sleek, futuristic helicopter at the centre of it all. But beyond the sky-high action, there's a wealth of fascinating behind-the-scenes stories and lesser-known trivia about this classic series. So buckle up as we fly through 20 things you never knew about Airwolf. 1984 was the year of the helicopter on TV. 3 different shows centred on crime-fighting helicopters premiered in January of that year, one on each major network. Like most things in Hollywood, this wasn't a coincidence. The film Blue Thunder from 1983, directed by John Badham, had been a surprise box office hit, and the networks scrambled to cash in on its success. NBC aired Riptide, which was centred around a boat and helicopter on January the 3rd, quickly followed by ABC's spin-off of Blue Thunder 3 days later. CBS was last to join the race with Airwolf, premiering on January 22nd. Even though Airwolf was the last of the 3 to launch, it's the one that outlived the competition and went on to become a fan favourite for decades. Airwolf has surprising roots in another popular TV show, Magnum P.I. Nearly a year before Airwolf premiered, Dom Belisario co-wrote an episode of Magnum P.I. called Two Birds of a Feather, which featured a Vietnam veteran turned pilot. The character was played by William Lucking, and the episode was intended to serve as a backdoor pilot for a new series. CBS passed on it at the time, but when Blue Thunder sparked a wave of airborne action, Belisario resurrected the idea, added a few twists, and Airwolf was born. Interestingly, several actors, including Ernest Borgnine and Jean Bruce Scott, appeared on both Magnum P.I. and Airwolf, solidifying the connection between the two shows. And talking of Ernest, he might have been nearly 70 during his 3-season run on Airwolf, but that didn't stop him from being right in the thick of the action. Playing Dom Santini, Borgnine didn't shy away from action sequences, whether it was driving, running, dodging bullets, or even throwing punches. The veteran actor, born Erms Borgnino in 1917, had a long and storied career, winning an Oscar for his role in Marty from 1955. But for many fans, he's best remembered for his role in Airwolf, where he proved age was no barrier to being an action hero. He continued acting well into his 90s, earning an Emmy nomination for ER in 2009, before passing away in 2012 at the age of 95. The first season of Airwolf was filled with complex espionage-driven plots and darker themes, often involving the Cold War. Hawk and Dom frequently clashed with the Firm, a secretive government agency, but by season 2, CBS wanted to broaden the show's appeal, especially to younger audiences. CBS pushed for simpler, more action-oriented stories, resulting in lighter, more family-friendly episodes. Although the shift in tone may have disappointed Dom Belisario, it helped Airwolf grow in popularity, particularly with a younger demographic, which was exactly what CBS was aiming for. If you're enjoying the video, a subscribe to the channel would be as epic as watching Airwolf soar through the skies at max speed. CBS also requested that the series add a regular female character. Enter Jean Bruce Scott, who played Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Caitlin first appeared at the start of Season 2, bringing a strong and capable female presence to the series. Scott's addition was part of the push to make the show more family-friendly and relatable. Despite the success of the first 2 seasons, Dom Belisario, the creator of Airwolf, departed the show before Season 3. Frustrated by the network's insistence on toning down the darker, more complex aspects of the series, Belisario chose to step back. His departure made room for Bernard Kowalski, who had previously worked on the Blue Thunder TV series, to take over as executive producer. Belisario, meanwhile, went on to create other hit shows, including the beloved sci-fi series Quantum Leap. Tragedy struck the Airwolf set on January 18, 1985, when Reed Rondell, the stunt double for Jan Michael Vincent, died in a helicopter crash while filming an airborne scene. Rondell, only 22 years old, was killed when the helicopter malfunctioned and crashed in Pico Canyon, just north of LA. The crash resulted in a fire that engulfed the chopper, fatally burning Rondell. Stunt pilot Scott Mayer survived, but the accident cast a shadow over the show, and the episode they were filming was dedicated to Rondell's memory. While watching the pilot episode, I noticed a small error. When Archangel and Gabrielle go to visit Hawk at his cabin, we are told it has been 3 months since the Airwolf theft incident. When they walk in and Archangel is sporting a sling, I thought strange. Then Gabrielle says Moffat stole it 5 weeks ago, confirming my suspicions that something was awry. While Airwolf looked like an advanced futuristic helicopter on screen, it was actually just a modified Bell 222 helicopter. The prop department added various attachments and details to the aircraft to give it a high-tech, almost military look. Despite its fictional capabilities like supersonic speed, a stealth noise signature, and advanced weaponry, Airwolf was essentially a conventional helicopter underneath all the props. And tragedy strikes again. The real Airwolf helicopter met a devastating end. After the series had finished, the helicopter was sold to a German company, which used it as an air ambulance. In 1992, the helicopter crashed during an emergency flight, killing all 3 people on board. The accident marked a sad end for the famous helicopter that had become iconic in the world of 80s television. In Season 3, Airwolf got a twin. The second episode of the season, Airwolf 2, introduced a rival helicopter named Red Wolf, built to replace Airwolf but stolen by its rogue pilot. The main difference? Red Wolf had a striking red underbelly, setting it apart visually from the iconic grey Airwolf. Airwolf's original theme music was more of an orchestral composition, but that all changed early in Season 2. As the series embraced more 80s style action, the theme shifted to a synthesizer-based version, capturing the pulse of the decade. And staying with the soundtrack, the theme music is still beloved by fans today. A 42-track, 146-minute soundtrack titled Airwolf Extended Themes was released in 2014. Much of the music's popularity can be credited to Mark Cairns, a superfan who kept the memory of the soundtrack alive with his digitally remastered versions during the 90s, eventually collaborating with composer Jan-Michael Zulu to create the official 2014 CD. Unlike many shows that get rebooted years after first airing, Airwolf was rebooted during its own original run. After CBS cancelled the show at the end of Season 3, a new production team picked it up for a 4th season on a new network, with a lower budget and an entirely new cast. Season 4 shifted to focus on Hawk's brother, St. John St. John Hawk, played by Barry Van Dyke. Though the new cast included Dom's niece Joe Santini and Air Force Major Mike Rivers, the reboot failed to capture the charm of the original series. It ran for just 24 episodes before being cancelled for good. For years it was rumoured that Airwolf held the Guinness World Record for the most explosions in a single TV episode, specifically in the episode To Snare a Wolf from Season 1. However, this turned out to be an urban myth. According to Mark Cairns, who created the new soundtrack CD, he researched to claim, even purchasing Guinness World Records editions from 1984 to 86. It's not in there, it never was, it was never actually recorded by Guinness. According to his co-star Ernest Borgnine, Jan Michael Vincent had an incredible skill. Borgnine claimed that Vincent could look at a script just once and be ready to film the scenes immediately, a rare and enviable talent for any actor. Sadly, Jan Michael Vincent, who played Stringfellow Hawk, struggled with personal demons throughout his career. He battled alcoholism and drug addiction, which led to multiple arrests, accidents, and personal issues. By the 90s, his health had deteriorated, and in 2012, complications from peripheral artery disease led to the amputation of his right leg below the knee. He passed away in 2019, aged 74. It's no surprise that a show featuring a cutting-edge helicopter spawned a range of merchandise, including toys. The Ertl company produced die-cast replicas of Airwolf, while Cox released a mini gas-powered version of the helicopter. Decades later, Airwolf collectibles are still popular, with companies like Hot Wheels producing model copters. Even though the show ended in the late 80s, Airwolf continued to live on in other forms. 2 novels were published during the original run, and in 2015, IDW released a graphic novel anthology called Airwolf Airstrikes. The graphic novel updated the action to the 21st century, with Stringfellow Hawk and a new Archangel continuing the fight. Airwolf made its mark in the world of video games too. Several Airwolf-themed games were released during the show's run. The original Airwolf game was released across various formats, including the ZX Spectrum and Commodore 64, while Super Airwolf launched on the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis consoles. And there you have it, folks. You now know a little bit more about Airwolf. If you enjoyed the video, which I presume you did as you got this far, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos coming to Rocky Watches Movies. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.